Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Turney.
Watch out, Game of Thrones fans. You may have a pretty serious canon catastrophe coming your way thanks to some telling new quotes by the series producers.
Have these people learned nothing from Disney wiping the Star Wars EU? You don't mess with canon.
It seems like Lucasfilm had fun. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly about the upcoming season, possibly spoiling what author George R.R. Martin's got planned for the books, showrunner David Benioff said, people are going to be very surprised when they read the books after the show. They're quite divergent in so many respects for the remainder of the show.
Fellow showrunner D.B. Weiss followed up those comments by adding, at a certain point we realized we were going to outpace the books and we kind of chose to see it as a great thing on both sides. There's this amazing world George has created and now there are two different versions. And there's a reason we can see why you can't be thrilled and surprised and dismayed by both of these different versions of this world.
Two versions of the same world sounds like. The producers are putting forth the idea that Game of Thrones, the TV show, and the Song of Ice and Fire books are becoming alternate universes.
Yeah, this does kind of run contrary to a statement they made almost exactly a year ago when they said that we would be spoiling the books with the TV show. In an interview with Oxford Union back then, Benioff reportedly said, I kind of wish there were some things we didn't have to spoil, but we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. The show must go on.
Well, seems like they're changing their tune a little bit now, and viewing the books as an entirely separate universe from the show might be their solution for how these two properties continue to coexist.
Given these comments and how the show has already been changing material from the books in the past, it's not really a huge surprise that we'd see even more diversion from the core material. Heads up to non-Game of Thrones people, we'll have some minor spoilers in here for earlier seasons of the show. We'll leave the most recent season alone.
But seriously, the new season's about to start, that's sort of on you. Why are you here? Why do people always watch these videos if you haven't watched it all? You're crazy.
And don't read the comments. These new comments from the producers come after some concern in recent months that season 6 of HBO's super hit TV show is going to majorly spoil George R.R. Martin's upcoming books. That's mostly due to the fact that at the end of season 5, the show basically caught up with the most recent book in the majority of its storylines and even passed the books in a few of them.
We were this close to getting book 6 ahead of this season too, but earlier in the year Martin said, nah. And on his live journal, no less. He still keeps a live journal. There he wrote, the book is not done, not delivered. No words can change that. I tried, I promise you. I failed. I blew the Halloween deadline, and I've now blown the end of the year deadline.
So that leaves us in a completely uncharted territory.
As a book reader, this is scary. I've never been in this situation before.
I know it. The TV series largely followed the events of the books in its first 3 seasons, and then started to make some unexpected left turns at Albuquerque right around season 4.
The first major divergence happened in the season 4 episode titled Oathkeeper, which ended with the reveal of the Night's King, a character that's been majorly hinted at in the books, but never officially introduced.
Considering this previously unrevealed character is actually an endgame villain for the series.
Well, we think.
Yeah.
We think he is.
It's a theory. It's a huge deal that we saw him so early on. The Night's King's first appearance inspired dozens of responses of people being, sort of upset with the series for spoiling books that don't even exist yet.
This may sound like a weird thing to be upset about, but keep in mind that people have been reading this series for 20 years. The books were their first entry into the world of Westeros and its many wedding-based atrocities, and now those same fans are feeling a little rudderless. And for some people, it's scary. Just look at this as an adventure, guys.
And do a little of this. Game of Thrones, the inaugural book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, first hit bookstore shelves way back in 1996. Did we even know what books were then? The series currently comprises 5 books, with the 6th book, The Winds of Winter, expected sometime before the long night. Hopefully.
Possibly.
Yes.
If you don't remember what a bookstore is, it's kind of like an Amazon that only sells one thing. Books. And sometimes coffee, because that's how you get people to go into bookstores.
Yes. All this talk about alternate universes and 2 versions of the same Westeros naturally has fans asking, which one is canon?
Yeah, I always want to know what's the truth here.
What is the truth?
Now, it's inevitable, and honestly, it's going to be hard for people to distinguish. While most purists would technically consider the books to be official canon, the TV show is going to be airing its version of the series' conclusion, which is still based on the original vision, well before the books. And usually what's published first kind of becomes canon unless you're Lucasfilm or pull a Marvel and create a whole universe specifically for the screen.
If Martin's current pace continues, the series finale of HBO's show could be coming years ahead of the books. It's been nearly 5 years since the release of book 5, with a 6-year gap between that and book 4. Yeah.
Such a long way.
It takes a real long time.
Canon controversy is nothing new for the shared media multimedia. We mentioned earlier the case of Disney pulling an Alderaan on the Star Wars expanded universe, wiping out decades of stories from the official Star Wars canon.
That form of story genocide happened way back in 2014 when Lucasfilm announced that with the creation of the new trilogy, only the movies, plus the Clone Wars and Rebels animated series, would henceforth be part of the canon. From here on out, anything new is canon, all the other good stuff, out.
Till they do it again.
Yes.
This started a huge outcry from fans of the expanded universe of Star Wars, which is understandable because for years the expanded universe was the lifeblood of the franchise, giving people Star Wars while we waited for new movies for dozens of years.
Yes, the Harry Potter universe has had its own share of canon snafus, mostly related to its characters. J.K. Rowling famously started some enormous fan controversy when she confirmed back in 2007 that Dumbledore was gay.
While some may roll their eyes at canon disputes, it's actually a reminder of just how powerful these stories can be for fans, so it's kind of a good thing. People have an obsession with knowing what's real because they feel such a strong connection with the events, whether they're happening on the screen or on a page.
It's beautiful. At some point, we've picked up this idea that if something isn't real, then it doesn't really matter as much. But when you think about it, whether or not something is actually officially part of the canon, if it means something to you, then it's real.
Headcanons. Just all your headcanons.
OTP.
It's sort of what Benioff and Weiss are getting at with their treatment of Game of Thrones. It seems like that we can be equally entertained, shocked, and dismayed by both mediums in different ways, and that the reactions to each one are just as legitimate.
Yes, so guys, don't worry. The show is still going to break your heart a dozen times over, disappoint you, make you mad, show you boobies, and the books will too, in a totally different way.
There's plenty of death to go around.
Yes.
What do you guys think of the alternate universe treatment of the Game of Thrones TV show and books? Let us know in the comments.
To stay up to date on more headcanon attacks and lots of dragon boobies, like this video and subscribe to the Know.
Are you flipping dragon boobies over there?
Why?
They're all, dragon boobies are floppy.
They're all boys though, right?